that like button. It helps me so much. But I wanted to come to you guys today quick and share some mobility stuff that I do when traveling. Now, I've had road trips the last couple of weeks, visited some friends last week in Arizona. Now I am up getting a 4-hour trip to do an orthodontist visit for my Invisalign. That's a whole nother story. But I'm in my car right now recharging. It's electric. So before my dentist appointment, I'm going to be just loosening up a little bit, do a little bit of work. But I wanted to show some stuff that I take with me on the road. So number one, I like these a lot. Normatec Go. So you put these on your calves. And if you're familiar with the Normatec, I've done a post on this previously. Basically, it's just air compression. And many people call the calf the second heart. The simple act of compressing the calf actually helps circulate blood throughout your entire body. So when you talk about being in a car for 1+ hour, 2 to 4+ hours in particular can be really damaging, especially as you get older. But you're not circulating, you can get edema, you just get stiff. I put these on and they can go for about 2 hours. And by the way, they're from Hyper Ice, where you can get them. They're about $200 or so. There are knockoffs at like Walgreens or pharmacies. I can't speak to how well those last, how well they perform, but the knockoffs tend to be pretty good. These have held up for a couple of years for me. And again, you just turn them on, various levels of intensity, and they can get you about 2 hours of battery life. So about an hour into the drive, I can just quickly power it on, and it can just start circulating blood through my whole body while I'm sitting. So that's a nice little strategy. Yes, it does. It's an investment, but if you travel a lot, you do a lot of commuting, you can take these, by the way, TSA approved. I've taken these with me on flights, trains, anything. This is a nice little thing to add into the mix. Another thing, for your seat, this is an ab mat. Just a nice little lumbar support. Just get you a little bit of extension into that lumbar spine, that lower back area. Some seats in particular can really flex you out and then get a lot of pressure coming into that lumbar spine, especially for extended, prolonged sitting. So I like a little ab mat. And I just did a post on this, uneven sitting. This is a half roller. And what I'll do, and just check out a previous live I did, but I'll show it here as well. You put the roller down. You put one ass cheek on the roller, and again, what that's going to do is create a drop off here. So now this side is tipping off. So it's just a way to kind of create a pelvic drop to stretch and open up the hip capsule and your QL, your Quadratus lumborum muscle, which when it gets tight often causes spasms and pretty intense lower back pain. And what I can do is, maybe 30 minutes into the drive, I get stiff. I have it right next to me in the seat. Again, be safe. It tends to work best in cruise control, but always be safe. You can also do this just before the drive if you have a tight side. So what happens when you're in your car and I'm braking or accelerating or braking both with the right foot, as I talked about in the previous video, it kind of creates a pelvic shift, offset rotation turn, which tightens up one side of the lower back. So this actually helps a ton with that. I'm just sitting on it, dropping off, and this is just a nice way to kind of stretch it out. You get a much better video on the one I did a nice deep dive on this, but I like that as well. Now, here's what I'm doing. Like when you stop, you get gas or you want to take a break, I bring my mini slant boards with me, and I can use the back area of the car here. And just by standing on these guys, right, you can see what's happening there. I'm stretching my ankles. I can do a little active hip hinge here and just stretch out that way. You can do some calf raises just to open up those ankles and hips. But I love tying in, as you know, I talk about this all the time, some hip mobility, right? So this is kind of the step or sprinter stretch. So with the slant boards, again, you don't need them. I bring them because they're portable, they're cheap. I think these are like $25-30. And it's gonna help get more of an ankle hip stretch. But now I can just really mobilize my hips, my glutes. And as I'm doing this too, I can go internal. This is gonna get more glute as I open up like that. Do my best to film here for you guys while I'm charging up. And you can also see I can go in and out, get some internal, external rotation of the hip, can tie in some hip flexor raises there. I can really drive that knee forward and try to really get that hip, knee, and ankle on the front leg going. And obviously I'm tying in the extension on that back leg as well. I can also take that top leg, right? Lift it up. And now I'm stretching my hamstrings. Little side-to-side action. Again, I have full videos of this. Check out You can just search for it, top 5 essential hip mobility drills. I'll try to drop in the link when I get back home. But, you know, active hamstring stretch, nice way to open it up there. So hamstrings, hip flexors, glutes, right? The areas that get really tight when you sit for a long period of time. I can also use these slant boards here and kind of get into an assisted deep squat. Let me actually bring these forward a little bit. I'll just put the slant boards aside. I don't need them for this, but I can just kind of sit into a nice deep squat here, use the back of the car for self-assistance, and to add some motion with the legs. Feel like my little fanny pack. He's 41. In and out. Can go into kind of a pistol shape here and really stretch things out. All right. Just want to try to open things up a bit, get nice and loose, and just some easy things you can do. Might have to cut this up for this. The trash keeps coming here. But these are just a variety of stretches and strategies I use to kind of stay loose on the road so I don't feel like a piece of shit when I get back home. Because that's the worst thing when you do these commutings. You get congested, you get swollen, you get stiff. You don't want to do anything. So again, quick recap. I've got my Normatec Goes, any sort of these compression things you can get. Again, I saw like a $70 version of this knockoff at Walgreens, any pharmacy store. Higher end option at Hyperice. Half roller, okay, which is great to help stretch your QL in the ways that I showed in a previous video. And then I also bring that ab mat, which I can put on right on the seat where your lower back rests to get a little more extension into the spine so you don't get overly flexed and stiff there. And then finally, some nice mini slant boards, which help stretch the ankles and calves. And by the way, I can even tie that in on that top stretch if I want to get a little more motion through my top leg, as I've shown this before too. All right, that just allows me to really get more hip, knee, ankle range of motion, just to kind of stretch it out on the road. All right, just spending a couple minutes in each of these, 2 to 5 minutes each side, going through this variety of stretches, really makes a difference. Hope you guys like this. If you could just like, share, subscribe, it'd be much appreciated. Lots of great content coming your way, and drop a question in the comments if you have them. I'll kind of consider for a future podcast or piece of content. And then if you're someone who travels a lot, if you have strategies that you want to share with some other people, drop them in the comments too, or any questions about what I shared, please feel free to do so. Have a beautiful day. Get ready for a great weekend. Chris Weezy! Hope you're doing well, buddy. But yeah, that's what I like to do, just to stay loose. And by the way, you can even sit here. I'll show a couple more here because that trash can came through. Just that simple cross-legged stretch. Get those hip rotators going and just opening things up. You really want to focus on the hips. That's what's going to lock down. All right? Have a great one. Another YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in. All right, another trash keeps coming. Love you guys. Peace.